Welcome to Dark Tales, where the road is never as empty as it seems, and the night hides secrets you were never meant to find. Tonight's story takes us behind the wheel of a long-haul truck driver on a midnight journey that turned into something far darker than the open highway. So sit back, turn off the lights, and let the road take you. The rain had been falling all night, hitting the windshield of Amir's 18-wheeler like 1,000 tiny hammers. He was used to long hauls through empty highways, but tonight felt different. The road stretched endlessly into the black void, broken only by the pale glow of his headlights. The CB radio hissed with static, and the clock on the dashboard read 2:47 a.m. He still had 4 hours before sunrise, and at least 2 towns to pass before he could rest. He rubbed his eyes, fighting off the heaviness of fatigue, but something in the air kept him alert, something he couldn't quite explain. Miles of silence rolled by, broken only by the low growl of the engine. Then, through the curtain of rain, Amir saw her. A woman on the roadside, drenched, holding her thumb out for a ride. Her long black hair stuck to her face, and she wore a torn white dress that clung to her in the storm. At first, he thought she was just a stranded traveler. Against his better judgment, he slowed the truck, leaned over, and opened the passenger door. "Where you headed?" he asked. Her voice was soft, almost lost in the rain. "Anywhere away from here?" She climbed in without hesitation, leaving the seat soaked with rainwater. She didn't shiver, didn't complain, just stared out the window as the truck rolled forward. Amir glanced at her, noticing how pale her skin looked under the dashboard light, almost gray. "Rough night to be out," he muttered, trying to ease the tension. She didn't answer. She just lifted her hand and pointed at the road ahead, as if guiding him. The rain eased as they drove, but the fog grew thicker, swallowing the truck in a ghostly haze. Amir tried the radio again, hoping for music to cut the silence, but only static answered. Out of the corner of his eye, he thought he saw her lips moving, whispering something he couldn't hear. When he asked, she stayed silent. Hours seemed to stretch longer than they should. The road twisted in ways Amir didn't recognize, though he'd driven this route many times before. Landmarks he expected were gone, replaced by endless stretches of trees and broken fences. His GPS flickered and died. Then she spoke. "Do you know this road?" Her tone was calm but carried something sharp beneath it. "Yeah, I've been driving it for years," Amir replied, though his voice wavered. She turned her head slowly, her eyes finally meeting his. They were dark, so dark it felt like staring into bottomless pits. "You've never been on this road before." Amir's grip tightened on the wheel. He swallowed, telling himself fatigue was playing tricks. But when he glanced back at the dashboard clock, it still read 2:47 a.m. He blinked hard, checked his wristwatch. 2:47. The time hadn't moved. "All right," he muttered, trying to laugh it off. "Clock's broken." She smiled, and that smile made his chest tighten. "It's not the clock that's broken." The fog thickened, and suddenly he saw figures standing by the roadside, dozens of them, soaked in rain, all facing the truck, their faces obscured. Amir pressed the horn, but they didn't move. As the truck roared past, their heads turned in unison, following him with lifeless precision. "What the hell is going on?" he whispered. The woman beside him leaned closer, her wet hair brushing his shoulder. "They were waiting." "For who?" he asked, voice cracking. She didn't answer. Instead, the truck's headlights flickered, and for a moment the cab interior went pitch black. When the lights returned, the seat beside him was empty. The woman was gone. Panic surged through him. Amir slammed the brakes, the truck screeching as it slid on the wet asphalt. The road behind him was empty, nothing but fog. His chest heaved, sweat dripping down his temples. He told himself to keep driving. Just keep driving. But when he turned his eyes back to the windshield, she was standing in the middle of the road. Same pale face, same wet dress, staring directly at him. He swerved violently, nearly tipping the truck, and when he looked again, the road was clear. His hands trembled as he pulled the rig back on course. "Get a grip, Amir," he muttered. "You're just tired, hallucinating." But then a whisper filled the cab. Not from outside, from right beside his ear. "You shouldn't have picked me up." He froze. The passenger seat was still empty, but the air was colder now, thick with the smell of damp earth. The mirrors fogged up, and when he wiped one with his hand, he saw her face staring back at him from the reflection, her mouth stretched impossibly wide, teeth sharp and jagged. He jerked the wheel again, heart pounding, and for a split second, the truck's headlights illuminated something that wasn't road. It was a graveyard. Rows of leaning headstones lined the sides of the highway, stretching endlessly into the fog. He blinked, and it was gone, replaced by trees and rain-slick pavement. Amir's mind raced. He thought of pulling over, calling for help, but the road offered no place to stop. Every mile felt the same. Every turn led back into the same stretch of darkness. Then he noticed the fuel gauge. Full tank when he left. Now the needle hovered near empty, though he hadn't driven more than a couple of hours. The dashboard lights flickered. The engine coughed. From the corner of his eye, movement stirred. She was back in the seat, silent, staring at him with those endless black eyes. "Almost there," she whispered. "Where? Where are we going?" Amir demanded, his voice breaking. "To where the others wait." His stomach twisted as he realized the figures by the roadside had returned. Closer this time, their faces clearer. Their skin was gray and sagging, their eyes hollow sockets. They raised their arms as he passed, not in warning, but in welcome. The engine sputtered again, then died. The truck coasted to a stop in the middle of the fog-choked highway. Silence pressed in, heavy and suffocating. He tried the ignition. Nothing. The lights dimmed and went out. In the dark, her voice was right beside him. "You've been on this road before. You just don't remember." Amir's breath came in sharp, panicked gasps. The cab felt too small, too tight. He fumbled for his flashlight, turned it on, and the beam landed on the passenger seat. She was there, inches from his face, her mouth twisted into a grin that split her cheeks wide open. The flashlight flickered and died. Outside, the figures closed in, their hands slapping against the metal of the truck, their nails screeching as they dragged down the sides. Amir screamed, reaching for the ignition again, pounding the wheel, begging the truck to start. Then, through the cacophony, her whisper came one last time. "It's already too late." And the road swallowed him whole. "You've just heard another dark tale. Remember, some roads don't lead anywhere. They take you. If you enjoyed tonight's story, join us again, where every shadow hides another secret, and every whisper might be your last. Good night, if you can sleep."